Chapter 1, the first step: How Java and Android work together. After we write a program in Java for Android, we click on a button to change our code into another form that is understood by Android. This other form is called Dalvik Executable Code (DEX code), and transformation process is called compiling. So in this chapter we will study about how Java and Android they are working together. The part of Android system that runs our compiled DEX code is called Dalvik Virtual Machine (DVM). The DVM itself is a piece of software written in another language that runs on a specially adapted. So that means that Java and Android are very related. To convert a Java code from to Android code, we just have to click one button. So with Dalvik executable code, that is DX code, we can transform any Java code into Android code. So DVM itself is a piece of software written in another language that runs on specially adapted version of Linux OS. That means Dalvik executable code is itself a software which is written in Linux OS. So we don't have to think about it right now. So the purpose of DVM is to hide the complexity and diversity of hardware and software that Android runs, but at the same time expose all useful features. So basically, it hides complexity and diversity of hardware and software. So hardware includes like various sensors like proximity sensor, fingerprint sensor, etc. So these sensors, dealing with them, these sensors is complex. So the purpose of DVM, that is Dalvik Virtual Machine, is to hide the complexity and diversity of hardware. So it simplifies the coding part, and at the same time expose all useful features. So it at the same time it exposes all useful features. DVM has access to hardware. The way DVM allow us access is indeed easy to use because of Android application programming interface. The Android API. A simple analogy could be drawn to explain Android API as a car. So we will study about Android API. And API is Android Application Programming Interface. So therein is an analogy of a car with Android API. So when you step on an accelerator, a whole bunch of things happen under the hood, but we do not have to understand it. We just have to understand where brake, accelerator, etc. are. So while driving a car, there are a bunch of things happen under the hood. That means under the in engine, in bonnet, etc. So we don't have to study them, but we should know where the brake, accelerator, etc. are. So that means we don't have to be so much stressed about everything. The Android API is mainly a whole bunch of Java code. So the basically Android API is also a Java code. Next topic is Java is object oriented. It is object oriented means it uses concept of reusable programming objects. In Java, blueprint is called class. When a class is transferred into real working things, we call it an object. So Java is object oriented. Basically, object means other users program. So we add them together, and we transform it into real working thing, and then we call an object. So Java blueprint is called a class. When a class is transferred into real working thing, we call it object. So we will study about it. What exactly is Android? Our compiled Java code along with some other resources is placed in a bundle of files called an Android application package. So we will familiar with the APK file, which is Android application package file. So let us see the block diagram of Android. So this is block diagram of Android. So our project we write in Java code, graphics, sound, layout, other resources. So in our project these things are included, which are Java code, then graphics, then sound, then layout, and other resources like image, etc. Then there is, this is connected with application programming interface. Then there is comes an Apex, uh, APK Dex code plus resources. That means these are compilers basically. So the our project is compiled into Android form with Dex code and resources. Then in Android section there is a Dalvik virtual machine, that is DVM. So this converts basically uh, into Android form or Android understandable form. So Dalvik virtual machine does that. Then what user sees. So this is about what user sees, that means it's output of user. Then Linux specialist libraries and manufacturing devices. So Dalvik, how Dalvik virtual machine works. So it works with Linux specialist libraries and manufacturers drivers. Then hardware required for is CPU, graphic card, GPS, camera, sensor, etc. So hardware here is Android hardware, which is like Snapdragon processors, then cameras, then various sensors like accelerometer, gyroscope, etc. So this is Android's hardware. Then about it is Linux specialist libraries and manufacturing drivers. So this is software part. So this was complete block diagram of Android. The development environment. In order to run Java code, we need to run free software called JDK. So JDK is Java development kit. So in order to run, so it is a part of development environment. In order to run Java code, we need to run a free software called JDK. So this is a free software. So which is Java development kit. Then there is a whole range of tools that are required to develop for Android, and we also need an application programming interface. So we will study about these tools required for developing Android apps. So this whole suite of requirements is collectively known as Software Development Kit SDK. So this whole collectively so this whole suite of requirements is collectively known as Software Development Kit. Android Studio. So what is Android Studio? It is an IDE that takes care of all complexities and compiling our code and linking it with JDK and Android API. So it is an IDE. IDE means integrated development environment that takes care of all complexities of compiling our code and linking with JDK and Android API. So it is Android Studio. Now installing JDK. First, before installing, you need to know which OS do you have, whether it can be 32 or 64 bit. So we can check in Windows that is it 64, our version is 34 or 64 bit. So before installing JDK we have to know that. Then after that, do a web search for Java JDK download. Select according to OS and bit version you are using. So do a Google search or web search for Java JDK download and select according to OS you are using and bit version of OS, that is 34 bit, 64 bit, etc. You can also search on YouTube that how to download JDK. In a folder, when you have downloaded the JDK, right click on file and select run as administrator. So after downloading this file, right click on that file and select run as administrator. There will be a series of windows that will guide us through installation process. So here the installation process of JDK is started. So there will be series of windows that will guide us through installation process. So it is the installing is common for us. You can search on Google about how to install JDK with step-by-step guide. After installing, make sure that Windows and its application know where to find JDK. So this step is important. After installing JDK, we have to do this. So right click on my computer or this PC. So in previous Windows there was my computer icon, but now after Windows 8 there is this PC icon on PC. Then right click on this PC, then go to properties, then go to advanced system settings, then search for environmental variables, then In this, then select new under system variables. After this, we can see a new system variable dialog box. Type java.home in variable name. So in variable name we have to type java/home. So be specific about the spellings and type d/java/jdk in a variable value field. So in variable value field we have to type d/java/jdk. Choose correct path where you have installed jdk. So this is the path where you have installed java development kit. Click on ok to save a new settings. Now click on ok again to clear advanced system setting window. So click on ok again to clear advanced system setting window. Setting up Android Studio. Now JDK is installed and ready to go. We are only one step away from building Android app. Type download Android Studio on Google. So now here we are installing Android Studio. So type download Android Studio on Google. Open website and click for Android Studio for Windows button. Then open folder when you have downloaded the application. Google about how to install Android Studio. So if you Google about how to install Android Studio, you will get a bunch of instructions. What makes an Android app? We know that we will write Java code that will itself use as other people's Java code. In addition to this, we will also be adding and editing other files as well. These are known as Android resources. So basically Android resources are other people's files that we use. Now we will study about Android resources. Android resources. Android or any other computer cannot read and recognize text in same way humans do. Therefore, we must present our resource in highly organized and predefined manner. To do so, we use extensible markup language, so XML. So we use XML for which is highly organized and which is used for keeping resources in a highly organized and predefined manner. The structure of Android's Java code. Android packages. When we create a new Android app, we will choose a unique name known as package. So this is basically when we create a new Android app, it will choose a unique name known as package. So by default it's set names to package. Packages are separated to sub packages so they can be grouped together with other similar packages. We simply think of this as folders and subfolders. So basically packages are separated to sub packages so they can be grouped together with other similar packages. So there are also sub packages also. Some common Android packages will we will use include android.graphics. So these are packages, that is android.graphics, android.database. So android.graphics, android.database, android.view.animation. So these are basically packages. So what are classes? Reusable code blueprints that we can transform into objects are called classes. We will see in our first app how easily import other people's packages along with specific classes from those packages for use in our projects. So we will import other people's packages. So it is easy in this system. In Java, we further break up our classes into sections that perform different actions for our class. We call this section methods. So methods are basically they break up our class into sections that we perform different actions for our class. So this is Android application programming interface. So this is Android API. So these are various packages. First is package ABC. In this class there is a class A in which there is data, then method 1, method 2, then there is a package XYZ, then class B, and etc etc. So this is basically a block diagram of Android API. Creating the project. First open Android Studio, then click on start a new Android Studio project. So first we open Android Studio, then click on start a new Android Studio project. We can name our application in application name field. Call our first application as Hello Android. So we are developing our first application, so we are calling it as a Hello Android in application name field. Next field is company domain field. Here you can enter name of your company website. So basically we are entering here the name of company website. Then package name will be automatically generated from previous two fields. So from previous two fields package name will be generated. Then remember, package is collection of Java classes, so we don't have to fill in package names. So package name will be automatically generated. Then remember, package is a collection of Java classes. Finally, in project location field we can accept default setting, or you can browse location where you would like to store all your Android projects. So finally, in project location field we can accept default setting, so we don't have to do anything here. After clicking on next button you will see target Android devices window. Select on developing an application for a phone. So we are developing an application for phone, so we are selecting on developing an application for phone. In minimum SDK section, click on default setting. So there will be a section of minimum SDK. We will click on default setting in this. So after that we have to click on next button. After clicking on next button we can see add an activity to mobile window. Activity class is a special Java class and every Android app must have at least one. So activity class is a special Java class and every Android app must have at least one. The option on this screen provide different ready-made templates of activity class code in order to give programmers a fast start where creating various different types of apps. So as starting from scratch, most appropriate actions for us is blank activity. So we have to select blank activity for our first app. So we have to write following in activity window. So customize the activity window, give us four things. First is activity name, write my activity in it. So for our first step we are writing activity name as my activity. Then layout name, so we are naming it as my slash layout. So this is layout name. Then there comes title, name it as my app, so we are writing as my app in title. Then menu resource name, we are naming it as my slash menu. So these are four things we have to do in customize activity window. A note on version controlling, Android Studio works almost seamlessly with number of different version control systems. VCS has following advantages. So a note on version controlling, so these are various different systems known as version control systems. So VCS has a following advantages. Why we use VCS, so we will study about why we are using VCS now. So advantages of VCS are, you can allow multiple programmers to contribute to same project and even same file. So for this is first advantage, you can allow multiple programmers to contribute to same project and even same file. Then you can click on a button to roll back your work. So this is second advantage, you can click on a button to roll back your work. Then you can store your code seamlessly in repository on a cloud, web, and work on your own project. So you can store your code seamlessly in a repository or on cloud or web, and you can work on your own project. So this is third advantage. So deploying and testing the app, we need to test our apps frequently throughout development. We do not own many thousands of Android devices. So basically why we need emulator, this is about this. So we need to test our apps frequently throughout development. So we test our apps in the Android phones, but we do not own many of thousands of Android devices. So there are thousands of Android devices. so it is not possible for us to buy every one of them and test in it. So for deploying and testing, we use an emulator app. Deploying to an emulator, there is a ready-made emulator that is included with Android Studio. There is a green triangle button that represents play. So basically there is a ready-made emulator included with Android Studio. So Android Studio has a default emulator that is Nexus 5 emulator. So you might be familiar with Nexus devices. So there is a green triangle button that represents play. So in menu bar we will find this kind of button, that is green triangle button. So we have to click on this button. Next we see a choose device window. Click on launch emulator option. Click on OK to launch emulator. Nexus 5 comes pre-configured when you install Android Studio. So then we have to click on launch emulator option. Click on OK to launch emulator. Nexus 5 comes with pre-configured when you install Android Studio. After installing Android Studio, Nexus 5 comes pre-configured. So here we have to note that emulator might take time to start. This is dependent on whether Android Studio has detected whether your PC can run HAXM, that is hardware acceleration and execution manager. So emulator might take time to start. That means emulators do not open in a rapid way. So it may take, we have to note and we have to be patient that emulator might take time to start. So this is not a lot of time, that it is like 1 or 2 minutes. So we have to note that here. So note that you can see launcher icon for your app. So after creating an app, so we have here created an app of text showing hello Android. So note that you can see launcher icon for your app. So in Android emulator now we can see launcher icon for our app with name we gave it when creating a project. That means our first Android app is now made. So we can open it and check it.